So, what if your occupation is actually listed in the short-term skill occupation list? What options do you have left for migrating into Australia? Good day everyone, welcome to channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. My name is Carl Young, registered migration agent here. Today I would like to take some time to get you into immigration system to show you how do we combo different type of visa and utilizing different states preferences to allow you to actually migrate into Australia. So a lot of people have these questions where they have been studying and they have been working employed in the so-called within the short-term skill occupation list. What that is in 2017 Department of Immigration has set out and differentiated two skill occupation lists. If you're in the short term, generally means you could actually only gain a working visa to be employed by an Australian employer, and it's generally only 2 years. It's extendable. You can get a further 2 years, but there is no pathway to permanent residency. What do we do? Now, today I would like to take you into the inside of the South Australian skill occupation list, where you could utilize it to actually migrate through South Australia in Adelaide. Now, let's have a look what's in short-term skill occupation list within immigration's website. So now this website I'm taking you through at the moment is the Federal Register of Legislation, where we have migration LIN 19/048. It's the occupation for 482. It's generally for the only working visas. Now under here, as you can see, what they call short-term skill occupation list is what we have been described and we have been talking about, and a lot of people, a lot of friends of mine and viewers had actually making comments and putting email inquire what do we do, what can be done if your occupation or your employment and working status has been listed within this short-term skill occupation list. So it generally is the skills that it's not the first priority and preferable skill that the nations of Australia will really like, but it's still considerably very important, especially for a lot of regional places like the Northern Territory, South Australia and Tasmania. Now today I wanted to show you a strategy how we can utilize this short-term skill occupation list and combining with what's offered in South Australia. Because what happened about a week ago, the immigration minister has actually announced a further introduce an addition of occupations into these lists. Now it may not sound so great, but if you look at it, on the 15th of March, which will be 2 days ago, South Australia Immigration Departments actually announced they will follow up with what's being added into the federal list, into their what they call supplementary list. So what does it do? Let's have a look. Let me jump into the South Australia Immigration's website. Now, generally, predominantly, a lot of people were only looking at the state nomination occupations. So these are the priority and preferred occupation that South Australia wants. But today, I would like to take you through into the supplementary list. Now, what does it do? It actually supplements the short-term skill occupation list, which we had just viewed from this list here. And generally, people don't think you could actually gain a residency through that within this list. But what South Australia is actually offering is that if you're actually working or have been in South Australia for a while and your occupation status has been good enough, where they have set out a criteria and requirement here, which I will quickly jump into that the web page here. Now what I do is, if you missed this part, I'll leave the link within the description. So if you click back or go into my description, you click in there, you actually find it. So what does it actually offer? It's actually offered to an international graduate of Australia, so of South Australia. So basically, if you have been studying in South Australia, obviously you gain that incentive if your occupations fall within the short-term skill occupation list. You will get that preferences from South Australia. And secondly, if you have been working in South Australia for the last 12 months. Thirdly, if you have immediate family members residing in South Australia for the last 24 months or more. And the last point is if you have high point. Now, what does it do? So if you do know about the EOI expression of interest systems, where a lot of occupations like accountants, IT professions, you may gain a very, very high point, but your occupation is actually in a very high demand and competing areas. You got very high point, like 75, 70, 80 points, but you still hasn't been invited by the Department of Immigration. Now you will have opportunity, first preferences for South Australia to actually invite you there. So these are the 4 points under the supplementary skill list that obviously there's a condition applied. So if you want more detail, you can go into the link there. So I wanted to chat to you about how we could actually strategize this. So if you have been studying and working in the field of occupation that's within the short-term skill occupation list, now my advice to you is find a job and find an opportunity in Adelaide in South Australia. Why? As you can see the condition that in the previous web page, let me flick it back there. If you do have work experiences there, you will have that first priority to actually gain residency through what they call supplementary skill list here. Now, let me just show you some of the occupation, which I believe it's very, very interesting here. Let's have a look. So for instance, there's a sport administrator, fitness center manager. So if you're a fitness guru, look, you may be you can be employed under an employment sponsor working visa, but if you are working in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, you may not have opportunity to get residency. But if you're employed in Adelaide, that's another different story, because as you can see here, you actually gain through what they call provisional 489 visa, which given you another additional 4 years of residing in South Australia and working for 1 year and residing for further 2 years. You'll be able to transfer into a 887 visa, which is a permanent residency visa. Now, within South Australia, it does provide a different view on the English proficiency, where they introduce this competent plus or proficient plus. Now, what does that do? What does it mean? Okay, competent plus, it's basically, if you do know about competent English, generally it means IELTS 6 across 4 bands. So once they're adding a plus there, basically they want 6.5. So if they ask for a proficient plus English, that will mean IELTS 7.5. Okay, so these are very interesting, and I'll take you into look into more. So financial institution branch manager, facility manager, it's very interesting. So if you're employed by a corporation where you predominantly managing a lot of facility like ladders and equipment and things, that's another way. Transport company manager. Now, musicians, look at this, music director and music professionals. Now, if you go into ENSCO and you search for music professional, generally that's the pianist, violinist, a lot. And also, I believe that also introducing a tutor, music tutor, into the occupation list as well. So film production editor, stage manager, copywriter, journalist. Now that's a lot, but again, the key here is to find opportunity and works in Adelaide in South Australia. Okay, now obviously all the common ones are accountants, even financial brokers, and I do believe there's other interesting ones: librarians, liaison officer, marketing specialist, architect, landscape architects, cartographer, jewelry designer, interior designer. There's a lot more. So if you do have that, basically spells out. Now this is only the supplementary list. We are not talking about the actual preferable skilled occupation list for South Australia. That basically covers everything. That's why a lot of people come and ask me, where's the best place to go for international education, for migration point of view, and job opportunities. Look, the only place that I really recommend people to go, unless there's other circumstances that you're looking towards or different type of visa you're looking towards, other than that, South Australia, Adelaide is the way to go. Okay, now going further down to the list, botanists, zoologists, there's other one, school teachers. Look at this, they open up for all type of school teachers, primary, middle, secondary, okay, and also lecturers, private tutors. That's what I had mentioned. So private tutor could cover a lot, even the music teachers and music tutorings is also including there. And this is very interesting one, teacher of English of speakers of other languages, that's a TESOL. So if you are a English teacher, and again, that's an opportunity there. Now coming down here, we can look at chiropractor, naturopath, dentists, dental specialists. That's a lot, amazing. And I do believe there's also sports person in there as well. I think that's further down the list. Rehab, student counselors, interpreter, translator, meat inspector. Now I have no idea how that will work, but I'm never in that industry, but it does sound very interesting. So architectural drafts person, well, that's a very interesting one, because generally if you want to become architectural draft persons, you're only required to go through TAFE. I believe that's a 1-year course that basically gives you all the technical skills to draw all the plans, and then you're ready to go. As long as you can find a job and get employed in South Australia, the opportunity will be there, definitely. Shipping, aircrafts, trainer, gas fitters, dog trainer, horse trainers. Wow, I mean, if you're in that field, here we go. Florist. I do not know, but I may do more research on how you can become a florist. I thought that's more of the people that are selling flowers, but I'm really interested how they had actually put that into a skill occupation list there. Sign writer, driving instructor, okay, emergency service worker, massage therapist, swimming coach, horse riding coach, tennis coach, footballer, sports person, coach, in retail buyer. Look at this, it's enormous, and that's what I'm saying. The opportunity is enormous in South Australia. So just to summarize what we have chat today, basically I've received a lot of inquiries in regards whether how they can do it in regards with if your occupation is actually within the short-term skill occupation list, because generally if you fall into that list, traditionally people are thinking is, well, there's no other option we can do there because there's no pathway to permanent residency. It's hard, and you don't want to lock into jobs and employments for years and years and end up with can't even reside and stay, because the current law only permits the work and occupation within that short-term skill occupation list to be extended only once, not even twice. So people are really reluctant to actually do anything about it. But look, if you can find an opportunity, go to South Australia, Adelaide, and utilizing what they have within the supplementary list, then you obviously gain a job, possibly transferring from a working visa into a 489 visa. Then your residency status can be changed in times. Okay, so if you do have any comments and you like our videos, give us a thumbs up, and also subscribe to our YouTube channels. Any other questions, feel free to make a comment, leave email, contact me, and I will respond back to you within days and times. Thank you very much.